So you've been painting your sea to shining sea artworks, and you're using tempera paint to do that. The tempera paint is the paint that's in the ice cube trays. And you can see I've been working on mine, and what I wanted to really show you today and concentrate on is blending colors together. So I know in class I've talked about, you know, if you're painting the water, instead of painting it all blue, or actually you could start out by painting it all blue, but then I'd like you to introduce some other colors. And you're going to introduce what's called analogous colors. Those are colors that are neighbors on the color wheel. They're next to each other on the color wheel. And you can see in this area what I've done, I painted it all blue, and then I came back in with just a little bit of purple on top and blended that in together. I've done that here. Let me go ahead and get just a little bit more. I'm going to put some just on the edge. Just because you're blending colors in does not mean that you're going to paint, I'm going to put purple over everything. I'm just going to pick certain areas to add that purple to. And let me show you, I'm going to go ahead and add it right here. When I do it, I paint it once, and then I use my paintbrush to kind of just blend those colors together and kind of smooth it in. Another trick is I dip my paintbrush in the water and get a little water on there, and then I kind of rub that together. You can see up here at the top what I added was some white. And when I did that, I'll show you right up here, I add a little white, I get a little bit of white on my paintbrush, and then I rub it into the blue. And I rub and rub and rub until you can't see exactly where I put that white. Do you see how that just kind of lightened it up there? You'll notice I also, in our ice cube trays, I've got dark blue and I've got light blue. I used both of these when I painted, and I think that turns out really nicely. Also, you can see in my seaweed here, I was using yellow. So I painted everything yellow. And then I came back with the green, and I'll show you. I get just a little bit of green on my paintbrush, and then I kind of pull up through it, and then I come back and blend that together to create that really nice color. Sometimes I also come back over it after it's dried, and I can blend some other colors into that. Now let's say I would like to make this even lighter. I'm gonna go ahead and wash my paintbrush off. I'm gonna dry it off. I'll get a little bit of white. And you can see where I add that white, and you see how I'm blending it in, which means I'm kind of rubbing back and forth to kind of blend that white in. That makes some nice highlights. I'm just with my paintbrush kind of putting white here and there. Then I'll go back, I can put a little water on my paintbrush. I'll go back and kind of blend that all in. And so I think that looks really nice. You can see with my seahorse, I had purple and then I kind of blended to the red. You're gonna notice on the color wheel, these are all neighbors, which means they're next to each other on the color wheel. Next to the yellow, there's orange. You can see I kind of added some orange. Next to the yellow on the other side is some green. Next to the red is the purple or violet. So you want to kind of blend those colors together. You can see down here in the sand, I kind of did the same thing. I'll lighten this up just a little bit. You can put the white right on there and then rub back and forth to kind of blend that in. That's making it look a little bit more like sand. Now, notice I'm not doing that everywhere. I just choose some areas to lighten up and do that with. I can also come in and add maybe a little yellow to change the color of it. If I thought it was too white, I'll add a little bit more yellow here. So what I want you to do is really think about where there's light and where there's shadow. Sometimes behind things, there's a shadow. So there may be a shadow around the seahorse. I'm going to go ahead and put in some darker brown just right behind this seahorse, and you'll see it kind of creates a shadowy effect. That is very nice. But think about your lights, your shadows, and adding those analogous colors. Those are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel.